Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Corner Cinema. I don't always review movies, but when I do, I use Sweet Potato Movie Reviews. Today I have a treat for you. I will be reviewing the very, very popular horror movie, I should say, Night Swim. Alright, so getting into this, you guys already know, if you've seen these videos, you know how we do these reviews. We talk about, the use of, is it a good use of script, good use of sound, so on and so forth, and at the end, we rank it whether it's good, bad, or horribly written. Yeah, at this point, you get the memo. Alright, so I'm just gonna jump right into this. Where do I even start? This movie I thought was a little mid. I'm not gonna lie. When I watched it for the first time, I was a little. I didn't really know how to feel at the end, and usually it's not a great sign. And I just had, I don't know. I just thought, like, for it being a horror movie, I wasn't particularly scared by it. And some horror movies kind of fall into different categories. Like some try to scare you, others kind of know that the premise is kind of ridiculous and they kind of run with it. So this felt like a horror movie that was genuinely trying to scare you, though. And it just, I don't know, in my opinion, it didn't do a very good job. And with that being said, I don't really have that much positive things to say about it. It's got pretty good. The acting in it is pretty good for the most part, and it definitely has some pretty good performances for what it's going for. That being said, I think the story is really what's kind of lacking here a little bit, because like the more when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I was thinking, killer swimming pool movie. This should be interesting. And but then I kind of started thinking about it, and it just sounded a little bit silly. Just a little bit. Not like, there's been some pretty goofy premises for horror movies out there, but a swimming pool, a haunted swimming pool, I said, you know what, that could be a little silly, but you know what, I'm open to it, I mean, whatever they throw at me, because, sometimes Hollywood, despite how much shit they pump out, there is a good one every once in a while, so how can you really know? So, then I went to go see it, and yeah, I think one of the funniest parts about the movie is, like, the more you get into it, and yeah, obviously there's gonna be some spoilers, because I gotta talk about it. The whole, I don't really remember a whole lot of it, but I remember the main kind of antagonizing force was this swimming pool. The swimming pool that, people throughout the years had lived at this house and have had people die in this swimming pool of mysterious circumstances. And it's all kind of, it's all kind of integrated into the story, and it kind of creates a little mystery aspect of the film. And that's interesting and all, but like when it comes to the scares, this movie doesn't really do a great job at building any real tension. You don't really get a sense of dread when you're watching it at all, which is, when it comes to horror especially, you should definitely feel dread whenever you watch a horror movie. Suspense is key. And this movie, I didn't think it didn't do a really good job at it, unfortunately. A lot of the scares try to, integrate the pool, but it's just kind of, I can't get my head around, a swimming pool necessarily being scary. And that may sound a little weird because, there's things in scary movies that they can make scary. There's some pretty ridiculous things, that they can put a cool spin on. But this one, I was interested. They had me. I was kind of thinking, maybe they could actually find a way to make a swimming pool scary, but unfortunately they don't. Because when you go into a swimming pool, the idea of it becoming way, way deeper than it actually is, and people grabbing you, that could be scary, but unfortunately, I don't think the execution is really all that. Delving into the story, just a tad bit. Well, no, not necessarily the story. I wanted to talk a little bit about the funniness of the antagonizing force of the movie, which is the swimming pool, of course. And I can't remember if it's this swimming pool exactly, or it's just water in general. But water in general, I think, is the main antagonizing force of this movie. And you could do that in theory. Final Destination, all the Final Destination horror movies have death as the kind of main primary antagonist. And that's okay because death is scary. Whether you fear death or not, there is some, death is unknown. Death is really what comes after death is really the end all be all question, and that's why I think those movies kind of make that very effective. This movie, I don't know, as soon as I figured out that there was this weird freaking weird scene. I can't remember 100% because this movie in general, I'm trying so hard to remember. There was this scene where the mom characters, whose name I cannot remember, unfortunately. Obviously all this, her kids are reporting all these really strange occurrences in their swimming pool, right? And she's got to figure it out. She doesn't know what the hell is going on, and I want to say she, at this point in the movie, has had some strange encounters as well with the swimming pool. She eventually looks up, I think, the previous owner of the house, who I believe had a child get killed in the exact same swimming pool. So she tracks down this lady, who is the former owner of this house, and this lady is she's talking to this lady, and it's this weird scene where this lady automatically becomes possessed by water or something like that, and says some weird bullshit along the lines of, oh well, ooh, water needs a sacrifice, and watch out, Aquaman is gonna kill your son, or something like that. I don't even really remember that well. And it's played off as creepy, of course, but I don't know, I'm kind of sitting there thinking it was kind of funny, the water needs a sacrifice, water needs a sacrifice, trying to be all deep and philosophical, and I think that's where the movie kind of falls a little flat for me, because I was under the impression that we're gonna get a horror movie, and we're gonna have a bunch of spooky ghost demon water creature things in this pool, but no, instead I think we get something. I don't know, regardless of which one you do, I think the script definitely needs some improvement, but I think the route that they did take with this movie was definitely, I don't know, it probably a little more laughable than the idea of just like some haunts happening in a swimming pool. Like, you know, it was trying to, I think it had some kind of message about, you know, some like deep philosophical message about water, or like life in general. Like, is it okay to like sacrifice for the sake of the greater good? And it's like, you know, it all just kind of falls very flat for me. All right, so with that being said, let's get into the list here. So first we have, was there a good use of sound? I mean, I think so. It's got like, I think, you know, although I said that the movie kind of struggled a little bit with tension, I think some of the sound mixing was definitely all right. It, you know, obviously it uses water a lot, and you know, there's bits and points in the movie, if I remember right, where, you know, the music really slows down and it's like very eerily quiet, and I think they utilized that fairly well. Alright, was the script successful? No, I don't really think so. I definitely think the script needed some work. They definitely really needed to think more about what kind of story they were telling, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's a scary movie. We need to leave the theater feeling something. And like, you know, when I walked out of the theater after watching it, you know, I enjoyed it, obviously. Obviously. I had, you know, I walked out of the theater, just, you know, a tad bit disappointed. I really was, because I was kind of expecting something a little more from it. I just felt like the script fell flat, unfortunately. Okay. Now, can I relate to any of the characters? You know, the more that I think about that one, the more I kind of remember the movie a little bit. And, you know, it kind of makes me laugh a little bit, because there's like a part, as the movie progresses, the dad character, the baseball player, he's the one, I believe, who gets like affected the most by the water. This is just kind of funny, because like the water eventually possesses him. Like, yes, the backyard pool possesses the dad and makes him like want to kill one of his children, if I remember right, which is just so goddamn goofy, man. Okay, so can I relate to any of the characters? I mean, I don't really, I guess. I can relate to the fucking mom character. Reason why is because she's like the only person in that movie that's kind of not an idiot. Because the kids are all like, oh, I was swimming last night and some crazy ass monster that comes out of nowhere grabs my leg and drags me under the water. Why don't I go back in the swimming pool after that happens? I don't think the mom does this. I think the mom is actually, you know, a decently smart character. And then you have the dad, the baseball player, who literally gets possessed by fucking water. Was it an entertaining watch? Probably. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained by this movie. I don't necessarily... I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, I went to the movie theaters. I had some popcorn. I thought it was a fun watch. I actually would not recommend you watching it.
I actually fucking hate this movie.
This movie, I don't know.
Is it better than The Exorcist Believer?
Yes, it is by a long shot. I don't think I would really recommend this movie for the sole purpose of, I mean, if you wanna laugh a little bit, then yeah, I guess I would recommend it. It's not necessarily like The Room level of laughably bad, but you know, it's got some funny moments, and like, you know, the scary moments you know, scary moments I use loosely. Moving on. My favorite part of this movie.
They all die.
They don't all die.
I know.
What is my favorite part? That's a great question. I mean, I guess I like the part where like the dad is kind of possessed by the water, like ooh. Sorry, I can't get the idea of a man being possessed by water out of my mind because it's just funny to me for some reason. But there's a scene where I think it's at a birthday party or something like that, where like the dad is possessed by the water and he like tries to drown someone, and you know, it's kind of freaky, a little bit, kinda, sorta. Yeah. Okay, so now I have to rank this on good, bad, or horribly written. I'm gonna say it's mid. It's a combination of mid and horribly written. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in to this review. Bye.